Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of The Heart of Irvine, where we highlight the wonderful people, the businesses that make up the city and make it enriching and beautiful. Today, we have a very special guest, Alan. I'm Yulri, your host and local realtor. So let me tell you a little bit about Alan before we get into the interview. Alan is a PGA instructor, and he is actually pretty well known in this community. I was at an event just last week and we were talking about golf, and the golfers there knew, oh, Alan. And so he comes highly recommended for anyone who wants to learn the game or wants to improve their already existing skills. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alan. And my first question to you is, Alan, what got you into golf in the first place?
My first exposure into the game was at family activity. My parents, I'm an only child, and they wanted to make sure that they spent some time with me. They had their own business. They had a retail nursery in the city of Tustin. And we would do lots of different things. We would do some art things. We would do some trips to the park. But one of our favorite things to do was to take some golf lessons and go try to play golf. And we were terrible. We were just terrible golfers. Never touched a club before, swing and miss. But we hired a pro, and he showed us how to play a little bit, and then we would go out and play together as one of our activities. And it turned out that I had a slight aptitude for the game. I wasn't really great at it, but one of my teachers said that something very encouraging, which I wasn't used to hearing. He said, Alan, if you practice a little bit and take some lessons, you can be a really nice player. And I hadn't heard anything like that before, so I was all in. I was very gung-ho and ready to play. So I think that one of the lessons I learned from that as a teacher, for a kid, the most important ingredient is the interest. If they're self-motivated, if they want to be good at it, that's the most important thing that I've seen.
And from playing golf, what transitioned you into actually teaching golf?
Well, as a player, I always took lessons. It didn't come very naturally to me. So I always took lessons, and I took lessons from my local pro at my local course. And I'd have him for a while, and he would help me. Then all of a sudden, he'd be gone and left, and I'd take lessons from whoever followed him, whoever came next. And these were really nice players, and they were great guys. Say that they're really good guardians of the game, because they were good to everybody. They were encouraging. But I never really looked up to them as somebody that I wanted to be like necessarily, because they would be there for a year, and nobody really took it seriously like a career. When I got to college, I asked around who the best teacher was, and the answer I got was Ben King from Long Beach. And Ben actually gave Tiger Woods his first lesson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And anyway, but I was taking lessons from Ben. He was our mentor. He presented himself in a very professional manner. He took it very seriously. This is what he's doing for a living. He always tried to do his best. He was always on time. He was perfect around people, super enthusiastic. Finally, I found the person that I wanted to be like. So yeah, that would be Ben King from Long Beach.
Awesome. So you had a mentor that really paved the way and showed you a way of where you can make it into a career. How long have you been teaching for?
38 years.
38 years. That's amazing. And in that 38 years, can you share with me maybe stories of your clients, things that people say draw you to them as their coach?
Well, one of the challenges I like to get is somebody who's playing that really loves the game and has had a lot of problems and hasn't been able to figure them out. And maybe they've been to some other teachers to try to fix it, and they'll come to me and say, Alan, if you can't help me, I'm going to quit.
Ooh, so you're the last resort guy.
Fortunately, over the years, I've been exposed to lots of different approaches, and I've always been very open-minded about learning everybody else's approach, which is good, because what we used to teach back in the old days, we call folklore teaching. I learned that from another one of my mentors, Brian Manzella. He calls it folklore teaching. I teach you what my dad taught me, and he taught me what his dad taught him. And this is passed down from generation to generation of not just families, but teachers. This teacher told me this, and there's that whole lineage of frame of thinking. And it turns out that everything I taught back when I first started teaching has pretty much scientifically been disproven. It doesn't really happen. And now the science and technology has kind of caught up to the point where you can really analyze what everybody's doing. The truth is available now. So I've had to change my views many times over the years. And I think, that experience has helped me be more helpful to more people.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that really makes a teacher successful, is that he gets results. But I'd like to think for the most part, I've had a pretty good record.
That's awesome. And I think you're very humble about what service you provide and the impact that you make, because I have heard a story about how one of your clients threw you a birthday party because they connected with you that much on a more even personal level. So it's not, to me, I hear it's not just about results, it's about how well you connect with your clients. Can you share a little bit more about how that happened?
One of my students told me that she wanted to be a teaching pro one day. I said, wow, that's really something. Well, she was already one of my students. She's a great kid. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll mentor you. You can be my apprentice. You can shadow me. You can come and hang out as much as you want. So she did, and she got better and better as a player, and she's got a college scholarship now. So she's going to leave to college this fall. But she wanted to have a birthday party for me. Behind my back, I was working with I used a couple of iPads as part of my technology, and she happened to find it when it was open, and she sneakily got in and got my wife's phone number off of it and secretly planned a surprise party for me. So a lot of the kids that I teach that have become friends themselves because they see each other a lot, surprised me with a party. So I had no idea.
Yeah, I think that's so sweet. And I think that's a testament to how much of an impact that you've made. That not only did they throw you a surprise party, but the fact that she also wants to be a teacher it says a lot.
Yeah. I've had some students be pros. One of my former students is the head coach at Cal State Fullerton now. One of mine, another is a pro at a local country club. It's always kind of surprising to me when a parent tells me, Stephen would like to be a pro like you someday.
Wow. You're leaving a legacy.
I'm like, really?
Yeah. What are some of the benefits for someone, let's say a novice like me, in terms of learning golf or getting into the game of golf?
Well, one of the benefits is that you'll be able to play with your friends. Because a lot of people have friends that play golf, and you may not know how to play yet, and the whole game is very intimidating for someone who's just learning.
That's how I feel.
But what I've learned as far as my approach for beginners is that you start close to the hole, and you make the game really small. So you've played miniature golf.
Yes, a
Miniature
long
golf,
time.
yeah, you get a ball, you got a club, and you hit the ball until it's in the hole. And you just roll it. And it's never very far. So that's what I start with. I start with putting, and I start close to the hole so that you can learn how to hit the ball straight. You have to be able to do that. And that has to do with how the club is aimed. Then you learn the cause and effect of what causes the direction. You have to also be able to hit at a certain distance, so there's a distance element. But once you can do those couple of things, you can kind of do that part of the game, and you can play almost as good as an experienced player. If you wanted to play, let's say you've only learned how to putt, I would say that you could go join your friends, but you're not going to try to play the whole game. You're just going to go with them until you get to the green. That's the closest part to the hole. And then you can put your ball down and you can putt with them. You can play, and you can finish out the hole, and now you can play that part of the game with your friends that are golfers.
I like that, where you don't have that added pressure of everyone watching you or people waiting behind you for you to hit far. I
always start beginners this way. And then once you can putt, then I take you off the green and you can chip the ball onto the green. And then you learn how to make the ball go in the air, which is like a mystery to beginners because they swing and the ball is still here or it just rolls along the ground. But you do it small enough, it's not that hard to get the ball to hop into the air. And then once you know how to make the ball hop into the air, now you know what makes it go in the air when you go farther. So as your area of expertise increases, you can go play with your friends, and you can join the game as soon as you feel comfortable, close enough to the hole that you think you could finish the hole.
I like that approach.
The traditional way of teaching beginners is you get into a group of 8 to 10 people, give everybody 7-iron, tee up the ball this high, and then try to swing and hit it.
Yeah.
And you do that for 4 weeks. Nobody practices. Nobody gets any better, and they don't turn into golfers. And then if they do try to play, they only know this part, so they go on the golf course and they'll try to do that. And there's people all around, and there's a lake over here, and I don't want to be embarrassed in front of my friends. And it's usually disastrous, and then they quit. So that's not helping.
I see.
Anything. So I found that this approach is the best way for kids, adults, any beginners to get into the game.
So what age range do you usually teach?
Most of my students are kids that are junior high to high school, and my afternoons are completely claimed by them. Everybody gets a spot. I've got a spot Wednesday at 4 o'clock. I got a spot at Thursday at 4:30, something like that. And it's hard to get into that block. And I teach adults mostly in the morning and on Saturday.
Who is your oldest client?
Let me see. I've had students as old as 85, I think.
Wow.
And when you get to that point, it's amazing. They still want to get better.
Wow, so it's a pretty wide range. And where do you usually teach?
My home base is the Oak Creek Golf Club in Irvine. I think it's the best practice facility in Orange County. It's got a large short game area where it's a real green, and you can chip balls on from lots of distances. It's got a big practice bunker, and it's got a natural grass surface to hit from. And it's the only one around that's open every day on the ground. I practiced off of all kinds of surfaces over my years, and you can learn off of any of them, but it's the most honest practice when you're practicing off real grass.
So will we find you there if we're there during the week?
I'm there Tuesday through Friday, usually Tuesday through Friday.
So I know where to find you.
Yes, you know where to find me.
So outside of Tuesday to Friday or Tuesday to Saturday, what do you like to do with your time?
I'm an amateur musician. I play with a community group called the Orange County Concert Band, and I play also in a swing band. And
what do you play?
I play the trumpet. And I have also volunteer as a bugler at military funerals. And so I'm part of an organization called Bugles Across America, who provides a live bugler at these events. We went to Normandy for the anniversary of D-Day, right before the pandemic. And I got to play.
What an honor!
I got to play taps at the National Cemetery there, which was an honor.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to do it until right before the band got there, and somebody volunteered me to do it without me knowing. Because they knew I did it.
You were prepared for it.
Well, that was special. Some other things we like to do, like to get together with our family who doesn't live close anymore. My kids are grown and they live in the Bay Area. So sometimes we'll meet them. Most recently, Pasadena, we met there for Father's Day. And we met in Colorado one time. And
to explore different neighborhoods?
Yeah, just so, because it's either them coming down here or us going up there. So we'll try to get out someplace that would be different for all of us. Yeah. So that's probably my favorite things to do. See the kids again.
Yeah. Do your kids play golf?
Not much. They were good at other sports, and I don't think it's good for any parent to impose the game on anybody. I've seen it enough times that I thought I shouldn't do that to my own kids.
Unless they're passionate about it.
Yeah, well, they want to play. They're playing for fun. My younger son plays a little bit. He played with me last time he was down, and he and his fiance play a little bit together. And they're very active. They do lots of things, but they're super good sports about trying stuff out.
Do you have any goals for this year for your business, or maybe even personal goals?
Well, last time I saw you, I told you I was thinking about maybe playing golf again.
Yes.
But I have a bum knee, and I was going to play golf, and I went out and tried to play a little bit before I was going to play with this customer of mine, and my knee's worse. So I think maybe I need to take care of my knee this year. so I can play golf and go hiking and whatever.
So does that include like maybe physical therapy?
I don't know. I'm gonna go looked at
Get
next
it
week.
checked. Okay. Well, I do hope that it gets better.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I didn't have to walk up the stairs to see it this time.
I know you also mentioned possibly playing jazz as well. Is that something?
Oh
that's
yeah,
still in your...
I've been playing trumpet for my whole life, and I've always wanted to learn how to play jazz, but that's always seemed like it's such a mystery to me. But I'm learning the fundamentals of it now, and I'm starting to practice a little with that. And
yeah, you can rest your knee while you play.
Yeah, I enjoy the process of learning, and it's really satisfying to improve at anything. Like you and I know each other through Toastmasters, and there's a time I never would have agreed to do something like this, but Toastmasters has given me some ability and some courage to go ahead and speak.
Yeah, you're amazing. I always admire when you are up there doing your speeches or table topics. You have a very colorful vocabulary. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're natural.
Yeah. It takes practice for sure.
Everything takes practice.
Yeah, but I wanted to thank you for joining me today. Did you have anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Maybe words of encouragement if they're facing difficulty on the green?
Oh, well, okay, so let's say for all you golfers, if you're having problems playing, it's usually due to one of the skills. There's a bunch of skills that you have to in order to play. It could be driving the ball or putting the ball or anything in between, getting out of a bunker. And it's possible to learn some basic fundamentals so you can improve at these skills. And I think I see it every day, parents teaching their kids, husbands teaching their wives, wives teaching their husbands, boyfriends teaching their girlfriends. And I can overhear it, and it's not proper instruction and not talking about the right things. But I can't run over to everybody and try to correct them. They don't want to hear it. It's unsolicited. But I would say that it's a good idea to ask some professional advice. If you have a problem and you really want to get it over with quick, I would see who's supposed to be good in your area and then seek out some professional advice, and you'll be glad you did, because if I, for example, if someone comes to me and there's something I can't fix, I don't even want to charge them because I have this mindset like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High that I can fix it. If I see something wrong, I have an ultimate set of tools and I can fix it. So that's how I look at most people. And
well, thank you for sharing that. And for those that would like to know more about Alan or want to contact him, I'll include the details in the description of this video. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And if you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Thanks, Alan.